Traveler's Guide. The Traveler's Key to Ancient Kemet. Okay. Maybe I can. Let me see. Temple. It probably wouldn't be. Temple of Man. That's just Luxor Temple. We're not on that though. Ta'ert. See, Ta'ert is the one of the names of the Divine Mother or the ancient primordial goddess. Let me see if I can look up Dendora. I think it was also called the Temple of Edfu, right? Dendora. You know, Dendora. There it is, page 237, 347, 393 through 408. There's a plan. It says plan. Page 407. Dendor 237. I don't know if that's going to show us that exactly. 237. This is a picture of the Temple of Man that I was telling you about. You can relate that with the 7 chakras. You can use it as a map. You know what I mean? But we're not talking about that right now. Okay, this is Ramses II, right? And then you can check that out. Anyway, let me see. Temple of 237. It's probably not going to show us. It's probably just going to show us the temple itself. Okay. This is Luxor, Thebes. You know, I'd have to do some writing. I've been there. I've been reading it. I got it highlighted and stuff. But I'm gonna do some writing. I just put a book up. You know what I mean? It's got the circular zodiac in it. Okay, it has the zodiac in it, and it has all the symbols of the zodiacs, ancient symbols of the zodiacs. All right, and in the center it has the primordial mother and the jackal. With the thigh, you know what I mean? It's there. It's in a book called The Tree of Life by Muatta Ashby, Dr. Muatta Ashby, if you don't believe me. Now, like I said, that was used to open up the mouth, in the opening of the mouth ceremony in ancient Kemet, which brought forth the breath of life on the other side, right? Not necessarily having to, you know, breathe in and out on the other side, just say the life itself, the existence of life being brought forth on the other side, therefore you being able to exist and have consciousness on the other side, because breath also represents the aspect of consciousness. Without the breath, you lose consciousness, right? If you get your breath knocked out of you, it is possible that you lose consciousness for a moment. You come back because you was unconscious. You know what I mean? So you got to take that and tie it in to what I'm saying about the breath of life, and how when the subordinate deity Jehovah or Yahweh created man, fleshly man, and breathed the life into Adam, and man became a living spirit, that breath is represented on the walls of ancient Kemet as Anubis putting the symbol of the Ats in the mouth of the deceased one, will say Ani, or the priest Ani, the scribe Ani. And he's represented as Osiris Ani. They call him Osiris Ani because Osiris represents the soul. Therefore, you as a soul on the other side being brought back to life, and then you will be put forward the judgment scene, which is known as it's known as a judgment scene. You know, Osiris, huge as I don't know what, sitting on his throne with Nephthys and Isis, but beside him, behind him, just representing these two right here, basically sitting in the chair just like me, and Osiris having his staff of power and his waz, his scepter, and boom, it's just a beautiful image. And that's where they're getting all of that from. There's 42 judges, you see, 4 and 2 equals 6. All right, so we're probably dealing with the judgment of what was going on with you in the material world, as we're dealing with the number 6 represented as carbon. Carbon is the building block of all the life out here, right? Referring to the atom. But carbon is what gives everything that the form. You see what I'm saying? And that goes back to the creator, creatress, the real creator, creatress, not the demiurge, creating all that is and formless into form. The form itself represents the sun of the intermingling of goddess and God. Space and the potentiality therein of expression known as the universe, right? And so Israel means Isis Ra El. Okay? Isis Ra El. The symbol of it, Israel represents a family tree or a royal family line. We all know this, right? Many people, especially Caucasians, believe themselves to be descendants or part of this royal bloodline. It is my understanding after all of my studies that this does not have to do with the color of skin, the race of the earth, and all of that. It's dealing with metaphysical properties, right? Beyond what you see, beyond what you see. You see, there's more light than what you see. X-ray, ultraviolet rays, things like that. There are all kind of different lights in the light spectrum that you don't see. So you can't come to me, tell me about, all that you see and feel until that's all you get. That's all it is. That's just BS. We all know that. You know what I mean? We also all know that the universe is like a hologram, right? It's like a hologram. Book by Michael Talbot, The Holographic Universe. Read it. You see, you otherwise you're just going to be, saying Luke said this, Luke said that, and whatever. So also, I just wanted to point out that this bloodline is the obelisk, the tree of life, the obelisk, the Tek Anu, is a symbol for the children of the sun, right? Who are none other than the children of Israel. Awakening through the return of the consciousness, the higher consciousness that was lost during a symbolic flood. That we lost the consciousness that we had, being able to lift stones with tones. We was able to lift stones with tones of musical tones, vibrations. This is written about in the Giza Prophecy book. This is written about in Forgotten Civilizations. No, I don't know if it's in that book or not. It's written about in Fingerprints of the Gods by Graham Hancock. It's written a couple things on how in the world what they have been able to lift the stones. You see, I believe it's also written in the Hermetic Code in DNA. Because with the 7 tones and things like that, he talks about how the priests were able to lift the stones, and it was a secret science. Because if anybody else would have known it, which probably it was known to a particular set of masses in quote unquote Atlantis, which is none other than the Egyptian symbolic of some type of history. It's the Egyptians used it to represent, it's a mythological story of an ancient past that existed, that was real. Okay? But it was given to the Greeks by the Egyptians. You see, so the Greeks did not create Atlantis, did not create the story. It was given to them by the ancient Kemite priests. So this bloodline thing and this Israel thing, it's so big, y'all. It's so big because what's going on so many levels is this. Take, for instance, when I showed you the picture of the Temple of Man, right? Well, the Temple of Man is really the temple of mind. The word man comes from the word manas. And manas means mind, higher mind, lower mind. We have these. Mid-minds, we have these. And they all represent earth, heaven, the in-between, and the beyond, you see, which we call nirvana. Michael Jackson, when he was little, called it euphoria. You see what I'm saying? It's a song by Michael Jackson called Euphoria. If you haven't heard that song, you need to get it, listen to it at least, how many letters is in the name Michael? Listen to it that many times. Michael. 7 letters? See, there's 7 letters in Michael. There's 7 letters in Jackson. 7 and 7 equals 14. The 7 represents the 7 primordial centers. The polarities of them equals 14. You add 4 plus 1, you get 5, which represents the Tetragrammaton, which is the star. which is you. You are a little star. You're a shining star. No matter who you are, earth, wind, and fire. Earth, wind, and fire. Oh, man. See, there's so much going on, right? So much going on. I'm going to have to end this video and do a part 2 because the information is getting hectic. My wife wants me to bring her some stuff. There's just so many things going on, and I got some music to record. But what I want to do is get you to meditate on the obelisk. Meditate on this right here. This is the obelisk. This is a stone that I got from Marshall's, and it has crystals in it. You know what I mean? It's very powerful. Ever since I've had it, I've had all kind of epiphanies and stuff. All right. Now this part right here, on down, represents the pyramid without its capstone. Okay. There's 4 sides to the pyramid. You put them in half. There's 8. All right. There's 8. So that's what it really is. It's really 8. You also can take this, squeeze it down with your thumb, put it in your mind or your finger. May it be the primordial point, and then you would have the 4 cardinal points or the 4 cardinal sections, the 4 seasons, the 4 quarters of the world, all that, and it all spinning off of that dot. That dot is also metaphysically the black dot. Physically the locus coeruleus, or the black dot within the brain center. Okay, there's 12 brain centers. Okay, that's in the book by Dr. Richard King called Melanin, A Key to Freedom. Rest in peace, Ashe, Dr. Richard King. This is the black dot. There's a author / rapper / lecturer by the name of Black Dot who wrote a book called Hip Hop Decoded. I told y'all about that. He breaks down the 7 chakras as well. Okay? I'm trying to tell y'all that's how they get into you with the 7 chakras. This lower chakra is down here. The highest chakra is up in here. Right? Up in here. And this is the primordial point. You can call this the 8th. You can call this eternity. You can call this the the Benu. Right? Rachel's last child in the Bible was Ben, or Benjamin. Benjamin is the hidden seed or the hidden son. Amen means hidden or inner. Amen. And then Ben represents the seed. Seed is Ben, and also because in Hindu it's the Bindu or the Bindu seed or the primordial point. All right. On that it's called the Bin, written hieroglyphically as the leg, the hieroglyphic leg for the letter B, and the wavy pattern for the sign of water, or for the sign of light waves or primordial waves, i.e. the Nunu, spells the word bin in ancient Kemet. So that the first thing you can put this in your mind, the leg wading through the water, right? As they say, which is the word for ford. Ford means to wade in the water. So when we're dealing with the elite and how they do with their cars and all their companies and the corporations, they always using the symbol of the eye. Another representation of the number 8. But they'll use one eye. The other eye is covered because the other eye represents Amen. The seeing eye represents the bin, or the bin, the Bindu, the Benu seed, the pineal gland, right? So it's like this. So all the Illuminatiists and shit, they utilize that symbol not to fuck with you and play games with you. It's to tap into your energy so they can become celebrities in your eye. You see what I'm saying? And take that light, because once your eye becomes single, your body becomes full of light, temple of man, right? Temple of Edfu. And they want that light. You see? That's why. And this is the symbol of the triangle for that light that they would throw up like this. Because that's where the bin is. That's where the black dot is, right? You can put it like this right here, like this. Right? Right there. And now and then Ra, or sun and moon, is these 2 eyes, whatever. You see what I'm saying? Ra's power comes from this whole section, but trickles down into what we call, this is the universe, really. This is where the gods are born. But before Ra was born, and that primordial seed that brought forth Ra out of that egg, it was the goddess up here that was birthing the egg. She's represented as a primordial serpent, represented as the primordial hippopotamus with the lion feet and the crocodile back, hippopotamus face. Ta-earth, ta-wert. This is the earth. This is where they get the word earth from, right? That's what the soil, i.e. soul, the soil, S-O-I-L, of the earth brings forth the vegetation. This is why Osiris was the soil of the earth, bringing forth the vegetation, man. So much going on. See? And this, so take this, the 7 chakras are within this, okay? 7th chakra up here, and then the primordial one represented by the octagon. See, the word, the number 8 is Khnum or Khnum in ancient Kemet, represented Khnumu. Now, who is the Khnum? Khnum is Khnum. It is the primordial the primordial Enyan. It is the 8 primordial deities of the Ankh, A-N-K-H. The Ankh represents life. Amun, Amunet. Nun, Nunet. Kuket, Huhet. Okay? They bring forth life, and life, which with its intelligence, is this Tehuti. Right? So Tehuti is really over here. He's not, composite of this universe. He's the intellect of the universe. He has no beginning or end. He is the divine logos, divine child of the primordial mother. Okay? More ancient was Sut, which S-U-T, and it means the black one. Narada in the Hindu means the black god, the black warrior, the dark warrior. Ancient symbol for the pole star in the body of the divine mother, which with its 7 stars, also known in Vedanta as the 7 rishis, which are the teachers. And we know what Hermes Trismegistus is. He does everything from the teaching of all the astrology, the sciences, and the microbiology, DNA, right? It's all here, right? He holds the caduceus. This is not the one, but there's symbols with him holding the caduceus or the caduceus in his hand. That's the 2 intertwining serpents, right? Primordial mother symbology. At the top of it, you have the dot or the ball or this orb. It's on all the ambulance trucks and shit, all the hospitals, because they have to take a hermetic oath, I think, or we'll get to that later. And that black dot or that primordial dot with the wings, right? The wings, and then that dot, which is your head, is the primordial or it's the pineal gland. So the intellect comes down through the sun rays, right? Mercury is the first, and he represents Mercury as well. The usher, right, of the sun, who would represent the preacher in the pulpit. And we'll get into that right now. And through the divine logos, which is you within the universe and microcosm, right? The 7 primordial centers receives all the intelligences of the cosmos, or the divine logos, not the one who is creating out of the material world, and we have to shit and piss, and we have to drink water, and we have to do all these things, which literally means we have to to eat the gods continuously to live. We have to eat the cosmic forces. We have to be, because that's what the shell and the flesh and everything is one with the cosmic forces. Those are the principalities of the universe, the gods and goddesses. But through the gods and goddesses, because they don't have no intelligence without the higher intel of the primordial mother, which is Tehuti, working through the 7 chakras. In this day and age, called the higher consciousness movement or the Christ movement. Christ consciousness is the divine logos, or Tehuti, waking up. And that means the gods and the goddesses around the world and within man are waking up, and they have awoken. The symbol for that is the word Nahast in ancient Kemet, represented with the eye open, the opening eye. This opening eye symbolic for the all-seeing eye of the pineal gland. Well, on certain levels, the pineal gland or the all-seeing eye is evil. Why? Because for there's the dot right there. For the ones who control the world, who print the dollar bill continuously, who are enslaved to China and Britain and Europe and the UK, and who are afraid of Russia, probably, I don't know. The powerful elite, they use the powers that they know that is originated of a man, because as the book God, Man-Made Flesh says, you are God in the flesh. It just, not only that, it's in the Bible. Ye are gods of the earth, or ye are gods and children of the Most High. I'm sorry. Ye are gods and children of the Most High. I forgot where that is in the book. I think it's in Matthew 8:22. I don't know. I forgot. Seek ye who made Orion and the Pleiades. I think that is in Amos 5:8 or 8:5. You see the ones. It might be backwards. 5 and 8 equals 13. Symbology of the moon. You reverse that. That's symbolic of the longest month, which is 31 days. Shortest month, 28 days. In the between is the 30-day, representative of Saturn. Because, you know, so much stuff, man. So much. Just want y'all to meditate on these things, man. I gotta go. It's 11 o'clock. I hope that I gave y'all some light. I have more. See, this is what I was going to teach on, but I only got to the top of the page talking about Israel and stuff. I didn't even get to the bottom, talking about the sun cities and the cities of the suns around the world. Teotihuacan in southern Mexico. You know, the pyramids of the sun, which that is the pyramid of the moon, which in Mexico, or Teotihuacan, the pyramid of the moon overlooks what the Aztecs called the Avenue of the Dead, which I think means the Shambhala and the Milky Way, and alongside the Milky Way, the ancestors are there. You see what I'm saying? And it was probably used as a ritualistic part of that whole area in the ancient times before the Aztecs. Okay, during the Toltec times, you know, or the Olmec. Okay. I'm just going to say peace. Study Tahuti. Study Hermes, Trismegistus, and study the 7 chakras. Study the symbol of Om and the word of the universe, for that represents the divine logos as well. The word. In the beginning was a word, that's in the book of John. John is An, or Tahuti An, which is this. Tahuti. A principality. Okay? That's why his head is symbolized as the ibis, right? Because the ibis's beak is like a pin. You see what I'm saying? So it represents knowledge. Okay? On that note, I'm going to say Ashe. Remember, we are Heru of Het in the universe. Heru, right? That's why I have it like that. She is the one who birthed that, right? See, really, Heru is Ra. Ra just presented himself as Ra, but down here we awaken ourselves and our souls, and we become Heru again, which is the avenger of our father Osiris, who represents the soul asleep in the material world. And we know that in the beginning, in Genesis, the God in the Garden of Eden didn't even want you to wake up. He did not want you to eat the fruit of that tree. Well, that represents your pineal gland. That's why they wanted to shut it down. They started shutting it down in before the 1940s. You know what I mean? Or we'll say this: the Nazis were using fluoride in their water to keep the people, to keep their energies down. Do you understand that? Do you understand what I'm saying? To keep them from rebelling. You see, these you know, during the Holocaust, right? Fluoride all in the water, and it was making them sick, right? And they already of the Caucasoid race, so they already their pineal glands were already nearly calcified mostly already, which is what fluoride does to the pineal gland. All of its deposits, for some reasons, coagulates or gathers around the pineal center, and therefore you your sight becomes dim and you live in darkness. You know, that's metaphysical term. The darkness is metaphysical term. The consciousness falls again. You see? The flood, you're still living in the flood. You're still underwater. You see? You have to, Noah represents, he is above the water. You see? That water represents consciousness. He represents higher consciousness, or the surviving consciousness. And then he has his seeds. His seeds represents all those Benjamins, the Benjamin seeds. Ham, Shem, Japheth. They all represents the seeds and the generations of the seed. They're not real people. They're seeds of consciousness that awakens after the deluges, which represents in the intelligence of the human being suppressed again. Because why? There's a book called The Lost Star. I barely dug into it. By his last name is Krutenden, or it's got 2 T's. Krutenden, right? It's called The Lost Story. It talks about how Sirius goes this way and comes back close towards our sun and goes this way. It's also in the book the Teotihuacan prophecies by, I think his first name is Walter, last name is Carterell, and talks about how reincarnations of different deities come in and out to give knowledge, because during one time there's darkness, and then knowledge needs to come in for people to wake up to bring forth the light, and then there's the light, and then everybody's conscious, and then certain aspects of conscious becomes utilized for power purposes, and then we fall again. Hence the Atlantis, Lemuria thing. Lemuria represents the higher consciousness. Atlantis represents harnessing that consciousness for purposes that do not pertain to a good future. Therefore, you're destroying it, and you're blinding yourself with the true higher aspects of consciousness. And then here comes Egypt again, with the help of Tahuti, who they say is an Atlantean. Okay, or we're referring to the Emerald Tablets, by the way. When I say that he's an ancient Atlantean, and he has his 32 light beings, which represents the paths and spheres of the tree of life, or the Yetzer Sephirah. Okay, these represents the parts of the macrocosm, or Adam Cadman of the universe, who was the son of the primordial mother, or the microcosm, which is the human being, who is none other but birthed throughout the gates of the mother of the earth. That's the only way that a human being can be born, originally, organically, universally. So I just spilled a lot of stuff out. Okay, I'm gonna come back though. I'm gonna talk about the Israel thing again, and how it is used as a diaphragm. In the outer world, we fighting that we are part of the tribes of Israel. Why are we still fighting if we already know that, right? We need to understand the higher aspects of our humanity and who we are as awareness beings, instead of dealing with this fleshy stuff and who came from who and what came from what, right? We already know that. We don't need to battle them anymore about who we are as a people, right? We sun deities. We moon deities. We're star deities, right? We're star, moon, sun deities, right? And it's a cycle, okay, right? Ashe to the god Kansu, exorciser of demons, is where they get the exorcism shit from. He's the first one he's the son of Mut and Amun. Mut as in mother. That's where they get the word mother from. It's an ancient Kemetic goddess. Alright? She represents the moon. When she is impregnated by the light of Ra, she is impregnated by Amun Ra, because the sun is hidden, yet the rays are shown in the moon day by day through its phases, for every day, 14 days, until it waxes to complete fullness. It's called the waxing gibbous, right? The waxing gibbous, ancient name for the god of earth, Geb. See? So where we get the word gibbous from? Okay? When the moon is 78% full, it's called 78% waxing gibbous, right? Then when it's down, and it's called waning when it's losing its light, which is the battle of Set and Osiris. Okay, So Mut, another symbol for mountain, right? Which is the moon. The moon is an ancient primordial symbol for all the mountains of the earth. This is why they say we come from the mountain of the moon in the Congo, I believe, right? The mountain is also represented as the ark on the top of the Tekenu, right? Now I said mountain, moon, Mut, mother. Mother births the seed. The seed is in the mountain. The man who went up, the boy who went up a mountain, came down as a man. I think that's the name of the movie. So many signs and symbols, y'all. On that note, I gotta go. It's been 30 minutes plus the one before this one. We're gonna hatch it together, and we're just gonna bring y'all more fire, more Ra. We're gonna bring you more Ra, more Ya, more Ja. You see, that's where the Rastafari. That's what it is. You know, that's what we're gonna bring you more fire. You see, I have ancient descendants from the Carib, or the Carib Indian. The word Caribbean comes from the word Carib. The Carib were ancient Indians in that land. However, the word Indian is derivative of the Indians of the Hindu, right? And the Hindu, are derived from Indus Kush, and these were black people. 4,000 years ago, whatever, or more. We were building ships back then. You know, we were building ships not only for ritualistic purposes, but literally to get on the water, to travel, for trade and commerce. And it was nothing but black people, you see? And so much going on with them ships and stuff. The Tekenu, this is a ship. This is a ship. Your human body is a ship. The earth is a ship. Right? We are all on the solar bark. It's called the solar system. The solar system is the ship, is the solar bark. And the solar system, the soul or the sun, is reflected in your solar plexus chakra. And then you have the planets going, you know what I mean? Mars and Jupiter and all that, represented by those chakras. And then the sun is the solar plexus. So I'm giving you different diaphragms you could take and use your mental, create 3D, 4D images and 5D images, whatever, and live in this shit, have dreams of it, and you get information from these things. But peace, Hotep, I'm out.